Steve Hartwig, along with Scott McFarlane and Jason McKenzie, are a trio of former soldiers marching across the country to raise awareness and break the stigma about a condition affecting men and women on the front line.
During my tour of duty, Steve and I had our own incident together. I was badly burned and I was taken out of theater, and this was in 1993 in Yugoslavia.
We were working together and he accidentally got caught on fire due to a jerry can of gas, and so I ended up putting him out. And in that process, it was a longer process than that. We had to put him out several times, and he was medevaced, and I never heard from him again.
The way I dealt with it afterwards, after the physical injuries healed, I was taken good care of with the physical part. But after the end of the tour, we're scattered to the wind and kind of left to our own devices and how to deal with it. And so my issue was avoidance. I completely withdrew from society and had a lot of problems afterwards.
There was a lot of trauma that came up for me because I'd be triggered by the smell of gasoline, I'd be triggered by the smell of burnt meat or hair. And I referred to Scott for most of the last 20 years as the Burning Man, because I didn't refer to him as Scott, because I had avoidant issues surrounding that incident with Scott.
And it was a 21-year gap. Neither one of us talked to each other. It was last year we found each other through social media on Facebook, and that was the first contact we've had, and it was a very brief message. And then when he started this march, he put up a web page on Facebook, and I was immediately taken back because he's educated himself. He can speak quite well about post-traumatic stress disorder. So I believed in what his cause was. And so this march with Steve here is the first time I've actually dealt with my post-traumatic stress disorder.
According to the Canadian Mental Health Association, about 1 in 10 Canadians has experienced post-traumatic stress disorders, with the reported rate of suicide for former personnel being almost 46% higher than civilians of the same age group. The Canadian government and military say there are services in place to help people, but how accessible are they? And more importantly, how comfortable do these men and women feel asking for help?
If I get injured with PTSD and I know that there's effective care, I know what the treatment is, then I'm going to be more inclined to get that care and treatment because I know it's going to be a shorter process. As opposed to when it's stigmatized and everybody, oh, you're a wimp or you're weak, you don't have what it takes. Those are the things that hold people back and isolate them. And then they start to feel shame and guilt and embarrassment because they've been injured. When in reality, they just experience trauma. It's part of the job, and so let's get the care and let's get them back on the job.
Into No Man's Land is being supported by friends and volunteers across the country as the men make their way to St. John's, Newfoundland this September. They hope to raise awareness and funds, so to donate and learn more, check out intonomansland.com. For northernlife.ca, I'm Malka Villegas.